my gratitude to Kit Chan who organized this, and I have been trying to follow as much as I can all the sessions, and it was very enlightening and a very safe place. And Charlene, thank you so much. Auntie Anne, you're always there. I should call you Miss Anne, not Auntie Anne. And Peter and all the rest who are just coming in. Yeah, okay. Well, I did have this book, and today I want you to pay attention, right? Because after the end of the 10-minute session, 10 minutes, right, Kit? Yeah. So I will.
For you special. Normally 7 to 9, but for you special. I think we don't mind learning from the coach. Okay, for you special.
Yes, thank
10
you.
minutes.
Yeah, and also for you guys special. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions at the end of the session. Pay attention. And whoever answer the right questions will get the book from me. I will send it to your address. Yeah, so no worries. You just put on Post Laju, you'll get it in 3 days. All right, so let me share the screen. Yeah, so I would also like to say that I stole some of these slides from SlideShare, and you know, because you know what better than be productive, right? And okay, I just wanted to tell you that this book that I came across was excellent for my work because I'm an executive coach. I was also a business coach. I have not done business coaching after 2 years, but that doesn't stop me from doing it again. Yeah, and as an executive coach or corporate coach, they call it. This book came very timely, and it's about Bill Campbell. Interesting enough, Bill is a man of very shy, doesn't want to be publicized. People want him to write a book or want to write a book about him when he was alive. He doesn't want it. As a guy. And guess what? In 2016, he passed away from cancer. 3 years later, 3 of his coaches, 3 of his clients who were coached by him actually came out with this book called The $1 Trillion Coach. Okay, so we have this edition. The one that I showed you is the older edition, but the new one that came out is the orange color, and you can actually get it in Book Depository. It's quite reasonable. It's about 40 ringgit. So that's what I like about the price, not as that double the price of some of the books, right? So this is, they call it the Silicon Valley, why he's focused on technology, and also it's a playbook for him. So you can actually use this book to be a better manager, a better coach, and a better leader. Yeah. And that's him. That is the authors, right? It's from left to right. The 3 guys were interviewed by this lady, Jonathan Rosenberg on the left, Eric Smith in the middle, and Alan Eager on the left of Eric Smith. Right? And these are the 3 people who wrote the book. Of course, Eric was the one who helmed the book. And Eric is a billionaire, right? Billionaire, and still he wants to write a book. Huh? Okay, so there are some gems that came out from the book. There are probably about 32 ideas, insights that helped me to coach better, to be a better coach. And I actually will be sharing only 14 ideas given the time, right? And let's see. First, he said, your title makes you a manager, your people make you a leader. So just your title doesn't make you a leader, but it's your people who respect you, right? And who sort of see you as a leader. That makes you a leader. That is the first one. And he focused on people. And this is actually number 2 gems. The top priority of any manager is well-being and success of the people. A lot of people say that people are the assets, but they don't practice it, right? But he does focus on people. People are very important. And in one sense that when people leave, don't treat them like shit, you know? When people leave, have great respect for them. Also treat them as if they are still with you. When they go off, leave a very good impression, yeah? Right? And I like this one. He says start with trip reports because he's so good at building rapport and relationship among team members. Every time when he start a session, and I remember when I was a V3 chair, I was chairing business leaders for 2 years under V3 company, an organization that do business coaching. as well as leadership coaching. And every time when we meet every month, 12 or 16 of us from Diversity of Business will have what we call a trip report, and they call it significant event sharing. That means personal, business, or whatever. So it's not just about business, it's also about personal. So when you say trip reports, they, oh, what happened over the last week or last month, you know, about yourself, your life, you know, anything that you can share so that people understand you better and know you better. So this is one of the gems that I collected, and I try to practice that. And this is number 6, but here is number 4. Lead based on first principle. That means we have established the first principle of how we, come together, and we should follow that principle and do not deviate from it, because this is so important. And it also reminds me that when you take a shareholding, everybody agree like it's a 50-50, and let's not go back and look at, hey, how much you do, how much the other person does. So do not change it back to guide the decision based on the first principle. I think this is also very key, yeah. And trust, of course, he says, listen, practice, candor. He is one guy. I don't totally agree with one thing about him. He used 4-letter words. But for him, it's a very caring 4-letter word, and people are used to it. Yeah. But for me, that is one thing that I probably have a difficulty or not comfortable. Yeah. But he's complete candor, and you know, Americans, they are direct. Yeah. And he's an evangelist for courage. Believe in people so that they believe in themselves. That's the way he approached people. Coach the coachable. So when he established coaching with some of the key Silicon Valley guru, yeah, and he would actually ensure that they have the humility, they are honest enough to actually be open to learning, have the courage to change, willing to work hard and discipline to do what he teaches them. That is what you will find, you know, and those people that he established are those people coachable. You know? And free form, he used the word free form listening, which I thought was very interesting, because this is never, you know, in our study. What he meant by free form listening, because when you listen to people, you don't think ahead, don't think of questions, don't think of what to say next, get to the real issue, listen with your full heart. Yeah, that means don't over prepare, just listen and then ask the next question that comes into your head. Yeah, in other words, you dance with the coachee, and that's what a lot of us have difficulty, right? So instead of listening to understand, we listen to reply, right? Not like what Stephen Covey say, yeah? Listen to understand, then to be understood. And then don't stick in their ear. So this is a very American term. Don't tell people what to do. Yeah, just offer stories. I call it advocacy. Share a story, share something and insights, and then ask them whether it will work for them, and let them make the decision. So they are the people who make the decision. Don't just tell them what to do. We should do this or what. Yeah? And the next one is your team. Team is paramount. Very important. People and a team. So he believes in team. So he says that the important thing is that you must get your team together and be able to help you. Yeah. And he also talked about peer relationships, and I think this is something that a lot of us doesn't do. And in which stage we do that? I encourage some of the members, like 12 of them, there will be 3 or 4 of them, they know each other better, they have chemistry. I say get together, you know, and talk every month and have an informal meeting, because they are going to be your so-called your advisor, you know, your board, you know, your board advisory board, you know, and it's free, you know, you're already part of the group. So this is peer relationships, right? Because I think we should pair people up for projects, because we can work together. 1 + 1 = 3, right? So that is what he believes in, yeah? And to care about people, you have to care about people. And sometimes people doesn't believe it. They actually show up in people's life, families. He remembers children went to where, whatever. He was amazing, you know. And some people say, how do I remember? I got 100, 200 stuff. Why not, right? If you were to take the trouble to take note and say, surprise them by saying, hey, I remember your this daughter of yours was going to college. Wow, my boss remembers that, that kind of thing. So these are little things that, he was the one who showed the way, right? He was a role model in that one. Yeah. And then Cheah, this is what I love. When I watch, I don't know how many of you watch The Voice, right? So now The Voice, they have the judges, and now because most of them cannot come together in the stage, there are some family members who are on video. And you imagine that family members and friends, and then you get people who got in, right? Because the judges turned around and they all cheer so wildly for you. And that's what you want. You want people not to be jealous of you, and people who actually cheer you and clap louder. And he was the first one. Whenever he go to a meeting, and when somebody make a speech and it was so good, he was the first to actually clap very loud, and that energized other people to keep moving. And he was the kind of people who says that cheer people for their success. Be happy for people, be proud of people, even though it's not you who is standing up there. Yeah. So be generous with your time, connection, and other resources. Yeah, that I can quote Kit Chan, the amount of time he spent, and he's always there. Kid, you are, you're already a model of this. So you don't have to do anymore. So you are connecting people, and with your will, and also getting people to get together. And like you say, 5 years from now, you look back and this connecting the dots, right? So this is the connections that I value. That's why I'm here. Yeah. Thank you so much for being there for me and for everybody else. Yeah. So build relationships whenever you can. So whenever you are in the elevator, passing someone in the hallway, see your teammates in the cafeteria, take the time to stop and chat, right? So I was fortunate, I stay in a condo, so I do engage with people. So I know more people than if I stay in a house. So because I meet people every day, and whether you want to say hello or you just look at the, out there, look at your phone or not, it's up to you. So engage with people. I even engage with the Nepalese guards. And when they say hello to me, I will look at them in the eyes, and then not just wave to them, and they're so happy. They open the door for you. And sometimes you have stuff you get for them. So these are things that, I think will build relationships with anyone else, right? From the janitor to the CEO, right? And he does that, he does that to everyone, he has no discrimination. Yeah, that is so important. Yeah, so this is the 14 gems that I just shared with you. And of course, the slides, I can give it to you, no worries, so that you can get it. But there's a lot of, if you were to, what it calls Google, there's a lot of information about Bill Campbell and Google executive. And the one thing that I want to say that look at the people, right? And somebody asked the question of this $1 trillion code, which chapter is your favorite, right? My favorite chapter would be the first chapter, which actually talks about the title of the chapter is The Caddy and the CEO. Why the caddy and the CEO? So when he was, he died about 5 years ago, 2016, right? On a Monday. In the wake, in the funeral, when was attended by all the gurus, and he has a caddy who came all the way, right, to attend his funeral. And guess what? The caddy was one of the people who was sitting right in front. He was one of the people who gave the eulogy. Imagine that. It's not the guru and not these people who are there. These are Bill Campbell's coaches, right? You look at the names, right? And remember the names, the question I'm going to ask you. So the names are, and why is it called a $1 trillion coach? Because these people run companies that is worth multiple $1 trillion. Isn't that great? And look at Bill Campbell, look at how he smiled. And, such an affable character. And Bill is right in the middle here among all the coaches. And Eric Smith, is the guy who wrote the book, together with Jonathan Rosenberg and Alan Eagle. And he contributed the book to Bill's lessons that he learned. And guess what? When Eric was first asked to be coach, when he joined, I think, Google, and now it's called Alphabet, about 18 years ago, he was asked to be a CEO, and he came from Noel and some of these high IT companies doing very well. And he was asked to have a coach. He said, why do I need a coach? I'm an established CEO, right? And I'm doing well. Well, John Doerr, that time he was an investor, he was a chairman of Google. He says, you will have a coach. And then he has no choice but take coach, and Bill Campbell became his coach for 15 years. And for 15 years, and he became the CEO and then became a chairman. Yeah, and then he retired as a billionaire. Remember, he is not even a founder, right? He's just a CEO, but he was given shares, and of course he became a billionaire. He became a billionaire just by being a corporate man. And this Eric Schmidt, and he wrote this book. Yeah, and it was his second book. Yeah, and the other one was How Google Works, and so great man and great people, right? And this is what I have to share. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. What an amazing share. I love the book so much. And thank you so much for your kind words. And I just want to give a tip to Jeff. If you already do not know it, if you want to build better rapport with your Nepalese guards, say Kana Kayo.
Oh, Kana Kayo. Okay.
Kana Kayo means have you? Kana Kayo is actually have you eaten?
Oh.